Chapter 10. The Land That Feeds Demons. Just as Thien was catching his breath, he heard a frantic voice calling from across the pond. "Thien, where are you? Thien!" Looking up, Thien spotted Tan and Xuyen sprinting along the far bank, panic etched across their faces. With them was Officer Kwong, from the An Tho Village police. Thien recognized him. He often visited the cemetery to burn incense for his mother, who had passed away 3 years ago. Thien, still standing beside La, waved excitedly. "Mom, Dad, I'm over here with Auntie La. She got attacked by this man." He pointed at Thien, his expression wary and mistrusting. Thien snorted. "This little brat's got guts." La gently patted the boy's shoulder. "Thien, sweetheart, he didn't hurt me. That man saved us." La stood shakily and looked toward Tan and Xuyen, who were running full speed toward them. Her voice trembled. "Thank you," she said softly to Thien. "But someone like me doesn't deserve to be saved." And just like that, she lunged toward a nearby tree, ready to bash her head in. But Thien was faster. He caught her by the arm and yanked her back. "Trying to off yourself now," he growled. "Not so easy. You're going to stay alive and face everything you've done." Xuyen reached her son, pulling Thien into a tearful embrace. Joy and relief poured from her like a flood. She held him tightly, weeping openly. La stood with her head bowed, ashamed to even meet their eyes. I'm sorry, to both of you," she whispered. Tan and Xuyen stared at her, conflicted. They had trusted her, loved her like family, and yet now they knew the truth. Officer Kwong stepped forward and informed them that La would be taken to the local station for attempted murder and kidnapping. Thien and Tan were asked to come along to file official statements. Xuyen took Thien home. Though the rescue was technically a success, Thien felt something still wasn't right. The Vu family shrine held a dark energy he couldn't explain. Something deeper, something worse. At the police station in An Tho. After giving their statements, Thien and Tan were allowed to leave. La was detained and would be transferred to the district level for formal charges. As they walked back, Tan kept thanking Thien over and over. "I swear, it's a miracle we met you. If not, I don't know how we'd live with the regret." Thien shrugged. "No miracle. We got lucky. If I'd been a few minutes late, we'd be lighting incense for 2 funerals today." Tan shuddered. "The whole thing feels unreal. My wife told me what happened. But how did you even know Thien was in danger?" Thien explained everything. "When I took that doll home, I found a paper effigy inside. Its head was pinned with a photo of Thien. That's when I knew someone had cursed him. I should have come back to your place immediately. But suddenly, I couldn't breathe. Thought I was going to die. When I woke up, it was morning. I rushed over and learned that La had taken Thien to the clinic. I recognized the scent of ritual powder on her. Same smell as the one from the doll. That confirmed it." Tan nodded, grim-faced. "It was raining hard when she stopped the bike, said something was wrong, asked me to check. As I bent down, she smashed me from behind. I didn't know until Officer Kwong said it was a hammer." Thien laughed. "You're a tough one, brother. Took a hammer to the skull and still woke up looking for your kid. But you should get checked at the hospital just in case." Tan exhaled. "Guess I'm lucky you were there. And all I could think about when I woke up was my son. If anything had happened to him." He trailed off, then added, "You know, I never suspected La would do something like that. I thought she really loved Thien." Thien's face darkened. "Don't think I'm being cruel. But I believe she planned this ever since her own son drowned. Everything she did, helping you, getting close to the family, it was just to get near Thien. But maybe, just maybe, she realized what she was doing at the very end. He paused, then added with a grin, "And don't tell Thien anything. He still thinks I'm the bad guy who beat up La." Tan chuckled. "You're one deep guy, Thien. Never knew you had all this in you. You've surprised us all. Your name really fits. Thien means good-hearted. And you've lived up to it." For the first time in 35 years, Thien felt seen. Since his father and grandfather passed, he had lived alone. People avoided him, thinking he brought bad luck from the graveyard where he worked. They crossed the street when they saw him. But today, after saving Thien, after watching the boy run back into his parents' arms, he realized maybe, just maybe, he could do more than just guard the dead. Suddenly, Thien's chest tightened. Cough, cough, I can't breathe. He collapsed beside his motorbike, sweating, gasping for air. Tan panicked. "Thien, what's wrong? Where does it hurt?" Thien couldn't speak at first. His vision blurred. Then it passed. Slowly he caught his breath and wiped his face. "I'm okay. I thought I was going to pass out." Tan asked, "Do you have a heart condition? Asthma?" Thien shook his head. "This just started yesterday. Had one episode last night. Now this. I guess I need to get checked." He stood up, stretched, and said, "Let's go. Your family's waiting." Back at Tan's house, he invited Thien inside, but Thien declined. "Nah, I left my place unlocked this morning. I need to head to the cemetery too." He started to leave, then stopped. "Oh, one more thing." Tan tilted his head. "Let me guess, about my gambling at the graveyard." "I'm not here to lecture," Thien smirked, "but I do need to warn you. That Vu family shrine is dangerous. That land feels cursed. I'm serious. I think someone's raising ghosts or demons there. Keep your family far away from it." Tan nodded quickly. "I've heard rumors like that since the fire last year. Nobody's dared to rebuild it. I used to think it was all superstition. But now, no amount of money could make me go back to that place." Thien smiled and waved as he sped off. As he rode, Thien's mind replayed everything. The black mist, the chest pain, the bloody nose. Is it happening every time I absorb that dark energy? He touched his stomach. His face twisted into a grimace. Death by spiritual poisoning. What a stupid way to go. Later that night, a shadowy figure dressed in black silk walked slowly through the burned gate of the Vu family shrine. He approached the pond, lit 3 sticks of incense, burned a yellow talisman, and whispered something strange, words no ordinary man would understand. The pond rippled. At first, small waves. Then bubbles began to rise. He opened a bronze gourd-shaped jar. Red liquid poured into the water. It looked like blood. And then they came. Twisted things with no defined shape. Some with human faces, others with demonic snarls, swarmed to the pond's edge, lapping up the red liquid. The man smiled, then muttered through clenched teeth, "Shame. Just missed a fresh child soul for you to feast on. But don't worry, I'll bring him back to you." He he he. Chapter 11. Ghosts are real. At 5:30 a.m., the sky was still dim with early morning haze. Thien had spent the night in the cemetery instead of going home. It was the full moon, the 15th day of the lunar month. People would soon be arriving to visit graves and light incense. So Thien got up early to open the gates and sweep the paths. He stepped out of the caretaker's hut near the cemetery entrance shivering slightly from the chill still clinging to the air. The humid weather made everything feel sticky and damp. But oddly, Thien had slept well. No nightmares, no ghostly disturbances. In fact, he felt more at peace sleeping in the graveyard than in his own home. Grabbing a long-handled broom made of rattan, he began sweeping the dried leaves along the pathway that led to the burial grounds. He muttered to himself, "Best night's sleep I've had in days. You know, maybe this is what Grandpa meant. He used to say he preferred sleeping here to home. Dad was the same. Maybe. That's why they both never really left this place. Maybe this is what Grandpa meant when he told the family to always take turns maintaining the cemetery." He had no answer, only that familiar feeling of belonging. As he swept the leaves into neat piles, a strange sound caught his ear. Scrape, scrape, scrape. He froze. He was still holding the only broom in the place, and he was the only one there. Slowly, he turned toward the sound, but as he walked closer, it shifted direction. Swish, scrape, swish. Today was the full moon. Wandering souls and hungry ghosts were known to roam during this time. Scowling, Thien raised his voice. "If you're looking for incense, I'll give you some. But if you're trying to mess with me, keep pushing, and I'll scatter your soul so wide not even the underworld will take you." The noise stopped. Silence fell. As the old saying goes, the only thing ghosts fear is a lunatic with nothing to lose. And Thien, he was a third-generation gravedigger. His family had been here longer than most of the spirits. The old ones were probably resting peacefully by now, but the new ones, fresh in their graves, must have realized they weren't messing with just anyone. To Thien, the graveyard had always felt like home. He didn't even know how many trees were in his own backyard, but he could tell you the name, age, and location of every tombstone in this place. Every mound, every brick, every blade of grass. This land had been his life for 35 years, and lately, ever since he'd begun sensing things beyond the physical, phantoms, energies, unseen movements, he felt even more deeply tied to the place. As a kid, he'd once joked to his grandfather, "The graveyard feels like home. Ghosts feel like family." Grandpa had laughed and pulled him into a hug. Eyes squinting with pride, he'd whispered, "You're not wrong. Ghosts aren't the ones to fear. It's the living. The ones who wear human skin, yet act worse than demons." In recent days, those childhood memories had returned with vivid clarity. It felt like they'd only happened yesterday. "Thien," Grandpa had once said, "our family will always tend to the dead. Taking care of the resting brings peace to the living. Pass it on, father to son, son to grandson. That's how we keep the balance." Thien let out a long sigh. He missed his father. He missed his grandfather. Their presence still lingered in the silence between tombstones. By 6 a.m. the fog was thinning. The air brightened with the promise of sunlight. Thien retrieved 2 bundles of incense from the caretaker's hut and made his way to the graves of his father and grandfather. He lit the sticks and planted them in the soil. Then, as he always did on full moons and holidays, he walked around and lit incense for all the neighboring graves too. Standing before his family's tombs, he whispered, "I wish I could see you. Just once. Just to know you're still with me. But maybe it's better this way. Maybe you've already found peace." He smiled. "If there is a next life, I hope I get to be your family again." With slow, respectful steps, he moved from grave to grave. This was his monthly ritual, one he never forgot. The graveyard is home. Ghosts are family. Just one thing I worry about. If I die someday, Will anyone continue this work? He chuckled to himself. The incense smoke curled and drifted through the air, and with every grave he honored, Thien felt a little lighter, physically, emotionally, spiritually. One night back at home, and I almost choked to death. But here, I sleep like a baby. Guess Grandpa was right. This place really is where I belong. He kept talking to himself as he worked. To outsiders, he probably looked like a madman, but he didn't care. At 6:30, he opened the cemetery gate. By 7, someone on a motorbike pulled in. It was Officer Quang. "Morning, Thien," Quang called out. "Just stopping by to see my mum." Quang was 32, 3 years younger than Thien. A gentle, respectful man. Ever since his mother passed away, he'd come by regularly to clean her grave, especially on full moons and holidays. That's how the two of them had gotten to know each other. Thien smiled. "Go ahead. I just lit incense for her a few minutes ago." With nothing else to do, Thien walked with him. They chatted along the way. "I stopped by Tan's house before this," Quang said. "Checked in on Thien." "How's the kid?" "He's fine," Quang nodded. "Doesn't remember a thing." "Good thing you got there in time. La's still in custody for now. We're waiting on the paperwork." Thien frowned. "What's the hold-up? You've got confessions, witnesses." Quang sighed. "Yeah, well, turns out, over a year ago, she was diagnosed with a mental disorder. Got the documents from the hospital and everything. If things play out the way they usually do, she'll be held for a bit, then released into her family's custody." "Her husband?" Thien asked. Quang shook his head. "Nope. He took off after their son died. Nobody's heard from him since. It's her eldest daughter and some relatives who showed up yesterday, asking for her release." Thien muttered, "This family's a mess. If she's mentally unstable, why wasn't anyone watching her? Why wasn't she in a facility? She almost killed a child. You can't just let her walk." Then he added under his breath, "Mental illness, my ass. More like possessed. That woman was cursed." Quang froze mid-motion, halfway through lighting incense for his mother. After a moment he spoke. "Thien, Tuan told me what you did, about how you helped before any of this happened." Thien sighed. "Damn it. I told him to keep his mouth shut." "You're a cop, Quang. You really believe in this ghost stuff?" Quang turned serious. "I do," he said. "I'm not like other people. Standing here in front of my mum's grave, I'm not going to lie to you. The night after we buried her, she came to me in a dream, clear as day. Stood at the foot of my bed, woke me up, walked me to the backyard, pointed at the grapefruit tree, smiled and said, 'I left this for you.'" Thien blinked. "Go on." "The next morning," Quang continued, "I dug under the tree and found a small metal box. Inside were gold rings, 1/2 ounce, 1 ounce, even 2-ounce rings. Total value, about 2 taels of gold. It was exactly what I needed. I'd just finished the funeral, spent everything I had, couldn't afford to marry my wife. That gold saved me." Thien whistled under his breath. "No wonder he visits so often." He smirked. "So what? You want me to summon her again? See if she stashed more treasure somewhere?" Quang laughed, shaking his head. No, that's not it. But there is something I need your help with." He looked serious again. "It's about La."